Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bomber and Griffin. Very excited to say that again, alright?
Yes.
Because
It's very
it has
epic.
been a hot minute since we have talked to one another, let alone done a podcast,
It's been
which
more than a minute, several minutes
it's
actually.
several minutes, and we did the last podcast a year ago. Whoops.
We tried another one, but
We
Blake
did.
fucked up the audio.
I tried it, my microphone shit itself, so that's why they
That
stopped.
was on Invincible.
Yeah, so I tried with a different microphone and we tried to do Invincible, which is a great show. Go check it out because, yeah, that's all you needed. That's what.
Did they mention when season 2's coming out?
No, not yet, but we are getting a season 2 and 3. They're greenlit. But
Okay.
as everyone can see
So everyone should catch up before those come out.
Yes, definitely for sure. But as everyone can clearly see from the title and the thumbnail and what they're looking at in the video right now, I mean, it's not much of a video, but we are talking about The Lighthouse today, which I've wanted to see since it came out, but I've just never found the time, and I'm so angry that I had not seen it until last night.
Yeah, I'm honestly more surprised that I beat you to the punch, and I only watched it like a week and a half ago.
I know, it's a great movie. I
Yeah.
thought it's really fitting because the Batman is right around the corner, so in preparation for that, we can get a good look at
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's last great movie. I'm not sure if he's done anything else in between the two.
I'm surprised you never got around to watching it.
I know, I really wanted to, and I don't know, it felt like... I mean, I thought the movie was longer than it actually is. So I
Yeah.
thought, oh, it's going to have to be a sit down, really be in the mood for watching a 2.5 hour movie. But I was so happy to see it was only an hour and 40 minutes, and I loved every minute of it.
Wait, are we podcasting right now?
Yeah, we are podcasting right
Okay.
now.
Brilliant.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yeah, no, I was very surprised actually, because when I was watching it, and I'm not going to like give anything specific, but when it seemed to me like it was nearing the ending, I looked at the time, it had only been like an hour.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I checked, there was only 6 minutes left on it. I was like, whoa, this is actually very short.
Yeah, it's really refreshing because so many movies, especially the biggest blockbusters of the year, are 2.5 hours, 3 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've become
This
a bit
came
accustomed
out-
to it. Yeah.
2019, I believe. Or was
Yes.
No, 2019.
2019 this one was. And
That was the year where I'm retroactively even more mad because wasn't 2019 the year that Parasite stole an Oscar?
I'm not sure if was
Because
Parasite 2019.
Joker also came out in 2019. And I think,
Yes.
yeah, because I remember thinking that Joker should have gotten it, but now I've changed my mind. This should have gotten the Oscar.
Oh, who would have you given it to though? Willem Dafoe or Robert Pattinson?
Well, I mean, you can argue that Willem Dafoe is like a supporting actor.
But some of the
Robert.
monologues he gives, they are incredible.
Let's not be too. I'm just gonna say now, anybody who's watching this podcast, which I don't know, I've got a lot to say. This podcast may even end up being longer than the movie. So, yeah, you should just go watch the movie right now.
Yes,
But
please.
Before you do, I will give you a small warning. Don't make the same mistake I did. So don't watch this movie with my mom.
Oh no! Oh no! I immediately thought of the scene that you do not want to see with your mum. Oh.
There are several scenes you don't want to.
I know, but there was one vividly. Oh no, that's
Yes.
okay. So yes, we're probably going to dive into full spoilers. So if you haven't seen The Lighthouse, please go ahead and watch it. It's fantastic. It really shows that Robert Pattinson isn't just a vampire in Twilight. He can act. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could argue giving this to Willem Dafoe because those monologues are incredible, but Robert Pattinson goes through every human emotion possible.
When
Like,
I was
to its
mentioning Oscars,
limits.
I was just going to say Best Picture.
Oh yeah,
Which-
you could even give this Best Director.
It
Really,
got the Best Cinematography, didn't it?
I know it was nominated for one thing. I'm not sure which thing it was, but
I heard it was best cinematography. It it honestly could have won every single category. What else came out in 2019 other than Parasite and Joker?
uh, I think we had Avengers Endgame, but I wouldn't
Oh,
give Academy
that's
Awards to
not
that.
really Oscar.
No,
That's not really an Oscar movie.
it's a massive achievement, like what it is and how those movies had come to be, but there's no like performance there that's pushing someone's acting range to the limit. It's
Yeah,
just
it's not.
a storyline like achievement in cinema. But back on topic. It was Robert Eggers that directed this. He'd done The
Yes.
Witch previously, which I haven't seen either and heard great things
Yeah.
about.
I've
Uh,
also heard good things about The Witch. Maybe have to watch that one too.
yeah, probably. He also did a movie called Midsummer or
I've heard of
Midsummer.
it.
Um,
I didn't know that was by him.
my
I
partner's
haven't seen
watched
it.
it and it is insane. Like from what I heard, it's like think of the craziest sexual implications of the Lighthouse, but that's a lot of the movie, and it's just
Oh
nuts.
dear.
Yeah, no, not good, not good at all. um, yeah, from the moment I turned this movie on, this is one of the best movie watching experiences I've had of the year so far. I've got a lot on the plate to review and catch up on, which I'm gonna in the following days.
Yeah.
But my God, I have an OLED TV now, and so when it gets
Oh
really
yeah, you've
dark,
got like this fucking
yeah,
serious TV.
yeah, I got the serious TV. So being an OLED, when it gets so dark, pixels turn off, and because you've got the black bars on the side, because the aspect ratio is like 4:3 or 1:19:1.
I think it. I think it's 4:3. No,
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not really that. I'm not really a big movie guy.
yeah, it's
I'm not the
one
one who
nineteen
knows.
one. That's what it really is. But having that, you've got the black bars on the side, and because it's so dark that it just turns the pixels off, I couldn't see the wall from the side of the TV. They just bled together. And so it's 1 in the morning. I'm slowly slipping into madness with these guys, and all I've got is just this glowing white square, or it's so dark you can only just make out things. And I got way too immersed into this movie.
All I'm hearing is that when I come down to eventually in like 17 years, we have to watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I'm pretty
On your
sure
TV.
this has a 4K transfer. It should. It'll just give you even more clarity in like the few scenes of the water and fog and the pores in the skin. Or man, it doesn't
Yes.
matter. It's great. This is a movie I'd actually really love to see on an old ass TV. But with like a newer sound system, so that you can hear
Yeah.
it very nice. But like you get the experience.
Speaking of hearing it very nice, I actually had to rewatch it with subtitles on because the first time watching it, I missed half of what they were saying.
I did try to watch it about 6 months ago. What happened was is that I really wanted to see it, obviously, which I've said.
Yeah.
Except I was doing things on my computer, making thumbnails, all sorts of stuff like that, and I thought I'll just put this on in the background and watch that.
Yeah, no,
And then
that's a
about
mistake.
3-4 minutes into it, I went, no, hang on, I'm missing everything. I need to watch this one. I can't put it on in the background because so much is happening visually that you're not hearing. However, the sound design of this movie is impeccable. It is so
Absolutely.
good. I think it does not get enough praise because the sound of that foghorn going off in the lighthouse constantly,
Yes.
the sense of like dread. It'll be like daylight.
I
I
want
mean,
to make that foghorn my alarm clock.
dude, I would hate that. That would be horrible. That would be so bad. That'd be worse than an Apple clock going off.
Just
Oh,
like 6 a.m. every morning, my mum just hears fucking.
oh, the fucking foghorn going off. Oh no, that would be horrible. No, like there'll be scenes where it's black and white, but you can tell when it's daylight, and he's just pushing the wheelbarrow, and the foghorn goes off, and I don't know, it's like this. It's like lightning, as if it was a sound just shot at you, and you feel dread instantly, and
Yeah.
it's just crazy. The
It's
like,
very oppressive.
yeah, there's some scenes where you're just looking at Willem Dafoe or not much going on, and the tension that the music is building. Without that music, a lot of it would lose what it has. I there's certain scenes I didn't write a lot of them down, but you could just feel it viscerally, the music and the tension, and who's going crazy here, and it's just fantastic. I love the cinematography. I'm not sure if that's what it was put down for an award, but just brilliant stuff, really. I love the shots where they're breaking the fourth wall and just looking directly at the camera,
Yeah,
especially at
there's
the
a lot of
start.
moments where they just look at the camera.
Yeah, and I know, like, it's a rule in cinema that you generally don't break, and people do because it makes for great stuff. But here specifically, I was at work today, and I'm just thinking of those shots, like the opening shot where they're both sitting there and
Yeah, no,
staring directly into the camera.
just
And
while I've been at work, over the past week, just like every day, it's just been on my mind. I've been thinking about different things about the movie.
yeah, no,
Because
oh man,
I've let it sit in my mind for a little longer than Blake
yeah,
has.
yeah. I thought it'd be really interesting if you've had the time to sit on it, and I'm just coming off of it fresh, thinking, what the hell have I just seen?
Yeah.
This is great, but what the fuck was going on? And not knowing what was going on and being lost with, say, like 40% of what's happening, I really enjoyed that. It wasn't a
Yeah.
frustrating, I have no idea what's going
Going,
on.
if anybody who hasn't watched the film is still here, which they shouldn't be,
Yeah, go.
going into this film completely like no expectations for what's actually going to happen is absolutely the best way to go in.
Yeah, the only knowledge I had was that one of them might be a murderer, which one we don't know, and they're slowly going mad together on this little island with a lighthouse. That's like
Even
all I
that's
know.
more than I really knew.
Yeah,
All I
oh
knew
man.
was that Willem Dafoe was in it.
I didn't know whether it was a horror movie or not. I had no idea. I'm not sure if
I
it
wasn't.
is.
I think it's. I mean, it is kind of a horror movie, but it's not really.
Yeah, well, that's
Not
kind
a
of what I
horror
thought.
movie in the
But
same way like The Shining is. Actually, The Shining is
I was
kind of.
thinking about it today, and The Shining is the most likening of a film that I can compare it to because you don't have all the answers. Some things just don't
And
make
it
sense.
is kind of a It's a vaguely similar premise
Yeah.
of people going insane, like in a very isolated location.
Oh yeah, I have so much to say and I'm tripping over my own words. I'm forgetting things. There's
Yeah,
just so much. Yeah, I was thinking about it at work all day today. It was just amazing. All I want to do is watch it again. Now with
Yeah,
full
honestly.
context. Yeah.
How the fuck does this only have a 7.5 on IMDb?
Yeah,
What
I
the
don't
fuck?
understand that. I'm not sure if I'll have the time to review it, but to give a brief summary, I'd give it maybe an 8 or a 9. Maybe I don't
I
know.
don't know how this doesn't get a 10, honestly.
Because
What?
it's not for everybody, and I don't think you have
I
to
don't
see
think
it
a
in
10
your
has to
lifetime.
be for everybody, though. Because, like, if you think about it right, what brings this film down from being a 10?
The mermaid stuff.
I think that made it an 11.
No,
Especially having my mum sitting
I
like
was-
5 meters away.
yeah, I wasn't thinking of the scene where he was jerking off. I was thinking of the scene where he was fucking the mermaid for like the 3-4 seconds that clip is
Yeah.
shown. And I was-
Also, let's stop
Oh.
talking about specifics of the film because we haven't given the spoiler warning yet.
No. They should have gone already. All right, please go out
They
and see it. Otherwise, I
Probably
want to.
still. I bet not Austin, Wilson, Jack. But he's still hanging around.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Alright, well, full spoilers, everyone. If you
Yes.
want to still hang around, just skip forward because afterwards we've got some other stuff to talk about as well. But otherwise, yeah, just click off of this or you can just hang around if you really don't care. I highly recommend you go and see this though. But I think because we don't know exactly what's going on, us trying to explain this isn't going to make any sense anyway. We start talking about octopuses and whatever the hell else is going on.
Yeah. We're probably going to have to bring up on like some of the monologues so we can talk about them.
Yeah. I think, like, I'm just gonna jump in the deep end. I think that Willem Dafoe's character, you've got two ways like this movie goes. You've either got the supernatural elements that are actually there, or you really just have two people that are going insane and everything's fictional. I love both. The supernatural way, though, I think Willem Dafoe is supposed to be the son of Poseidon. Poseidon has a kid that's a shapeshifter, and you can see in one of the scenes where he's shapeshifting between a mermaid, an octopus sea monster.
That scene was awkward because I thought he was about to fuck Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, no, it gets weird, man. But hey, who wouldn't? That drip, though, yo.
I mean, true, yeah. He's got some fucking sweet outfits in this room. In this film.
No. Have you seen that that short meme where like people approach him on the street?
Yeah, he's in like New York or something.
Yeah. I've the first time I seen it with the actual audio, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a beanie from some brand of some sort."
Yeah,
like he doesn't know.
These shoes I picked up in Mexico.
Yeah, just random places. No, Willem Dafoe has that drip. We absolutely love him. So.
Unironically, Willem Dafoe is the reason I watched this film.
Yeah, he was fantastic in it.
Yes.
They both worked so well, which really excites me, the idea of, because Robert Pattinson being Batman now, there were rumors that Willem Dafoe would then be the Joker for this Batman. I think it could be amazing. I know, like, Willem Dafoe seems like the obvious choice, but the way that these two have already had that previous working together, and if it's brought up like, oh, we're gonna consider doing the Joker, Robert Pattinson will be like, yeah, Willem Dafoe, come on. Like, he's had that time with him, so I think they could do something amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I would love to see it. I know he seems like the obvious choice, but anyway.
There's going to be so many random side tangents going off into nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
We need to try and figure out some kind of structure, because the movie didn't.
No, I forgot to say it. I was going to say something at the start of the podcast about how we sit back, relax, talk about the main subject matter before we like spear off into all sorts of random
just try
tangents.
And give a rundown of events in somewhat chronological order for now.
Mate, I can't remember that stuff. No way. Well, I'm only going off the notes I've got, and I've gone through a lot of them already. But I never thought that hearing Willem Dafoe say, "Why'd you spill the beans?" would be the most terrifying thing I've ever fucking heard. That scene where he's repeating, "Why'd you spill the beans?" It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to bring this up before, and I'm losing track of what I'm talking about because it's going so fast.
We're going to be in a Lighthouse bar soon enough.
Oh yeah, no, welcome. This isn't the movie Lighthouse. We're in a lighthouse right now recording this.
Yeah.
It's my light though, so fuck off. We were talking about like the genre of movie that this is, and Robert Pattinson says that this is a comedy, and he keeps trying to convince producers, friends, everyone that this movie is a comedy.
I believe that.
Yeah, I really want to watch it again through that that perspective in mind for a second viewing, just to see how it goes.
There is a lot of it that is quite funny. Like, there were a lot of moments where I was like chuckling to myself, and my mum was absolutely horrified about 5 meters away. I've got to mention that my mum was sitting 5 meters away from every time I get the chance. Especially when we talk about all of the wanking in this movie, because there's a fair bit.
There's a lot of wanking.
I'd say that at least like 5% of this film's runtime is one of the characters jerking off.
One of them, I'm sure Willem Dafoe had a good time at the top of that lighthouse with the octopus. Oh god, this movie's fucked up. Yeah, for a comedy, it's quite bleak. There's not a lot of jokes, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, it's just kind of comedic situations that our two intrepid heroes get themselves into.
Our intrepid heroes. I think they're both murderers and deranged.
It's a more subtle.
Yeah,
comedy.
I'd love to see it, like how I review American Psycho. Watching that over and over and over, I laugh at it more and more every time I see it. Like I'm laughing at just every sentence now. Okay, with Al and even the dog and what happens to the dog, I laugh at that. I'm really fucked up. So,
I laughed at the dog while I was watching American Psycho with my mom.
oh, that's fantastic. Um, so what I really liked about this is that obviously I watch movies with a critical eye and I analyze things and I've written down things like the cinematography, the music, with the sound design. But at some point I stopped doing that and just started watching the movie at maybe, you know, one third of the way in or halfway through. And it's just awesome. I miss watching movies just like that, where I'm not
Yeah.
writing anything anymore. I'm just focused on this these two people going absolutely insane. And I really liked not knowing everything because it just added to the madness of,
Yes, it
which
definitely
person's right.
does.
I really love the scene where uh, it's about two-thirds of the way through. Willem Dafoe just comes out and says every like theory that the audience could possibly have because I know his name's Thomas, but they're both named
Yes.
Thomas. So Winslow, when we're
Yes,
following,
we'll call for simplicity. We'll just call Robert Pattinson's character Winslow
yeah.
until otherwise
See, if you
mentioned.
haven't watched it, it ain't gonna make any sense. So,
But yeah,
yeah, for people that don't care. So Winslow, we're following him the whole time, and yeah, Willem Dafoe just straight up debunks every theory that the audience might have had about, Willem Dafoe's definitely killed the person that was previously working with him or something. And as soon as Willem Dafoe's debunked all that and said, maybe you're crazy, how long have we been here? 2 days, 2 months. I absolutely love that because all of a sudden, any smart thing that the audience can think of is just turned on its head. They're actively acknowledging it. You have no idea
he
where this
didn't
movie's
mention what
going.
a theory I actually had in mind. I'll mention it later when we've talked about more of the details that relate to it. But I
Ah,
actually had a theory hatching in my head that I've not really seen anywhere else.
ah,
Like, by any... Because I've, like, looked at a couple things online about other people's theories, and none of them match my own.
well, go for it,
Um,
dude. I'm diving
yeah.
right in. Just let's go for it.
We'll talk about that. We'll get into more of our own theories a bit later once we've laid the groundwork. Because you can't
Oh,
just jump into it.
yeah, yes, you can. Go for it. Let's just
Explaining the
watch Willem
detail.
Dafoe get buried alive and
We'll
be a
just keep talking
dog.
about Willem Dafoe's great monologues, because this is only one of several.
Oh, he
The
has
one we're
so
talking about
many.
now.
But I just really loved that one for debunking any theory that I could have had about like the
Hmm.
obvious things that a general
Yeah,
audience going member will be like, yeah, nah, he definitely killed the last person that was working here. And Willem Dafoe's like, what, you think I did that? Or maybe I did do that and I'm acknowledging it. Now what are you gonna do about it?
I
And
knew you were mad when you smashed up that lifeboat just now
yeah,
and
it just
chased
starts flipping
an axe trying
everything.
to kill old Tom. And this is right after we, as the audience, see Willem Dafoe with the axe.
Yeah.
So the the question has to be: is Willem Dafoe telling the truth, and Robert Pattinson is in some kind of Fight Club situation where he sees somebody else doing an action that he's actually taking?
Um well, I don't know. You could perfectly argue it both ways. Willem Dafoe's
Yeah,
done it. He full is aware that he's done it, and then is saying, "No, you did it. You're the one that's going nuts here to make
yeah,
him go
because he
even
can
more
see
crazy."
that Winslow was absolutely
Uh,
off his rocker, and
yeah,
he's just having a laugh, which is pretty epic.
and then at the same time, you could also, very clearly say, "No, you were the one with the axe," and you thought, like, you think it's me? No, 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 you had the axe, and everything just played out exactly like that, except it was you doing shit. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that this movie can be interpreted in 1,000 different ways. I love that it's a movie that after I finished watching it, I didn't stop thinking about it, and it makes you think. It doesn't
It,
just switch your brain off for two
yeah, it's
hours.
a film that if you just watch it and take everything, or like, if you just watch it and just take everything as completely at face value and don't really think about it any deeper, and you come out of it, you're just going to be like, that was nonsense. And if you don't think about it after you've watched it, you're just going to not care. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's basically what my mum did. She doesn't appear to have given it much thought afterwards, and when I asked her the other day, she mentioned she didn't really like it, um,
Ah,
which was
nah.
disappointing.
You should
One
get
of
a
the
new
things she
mum.
mentioned was she didn't like it was in black and white, which I think is a stupid complaint.
No, no, I
Um,
think that really adds to it. I mean, it's done a
yeah,
lot with, like, it's shot with a lot of the technology that was available at the time. I know that the whole film was only done with one type of lens, too, which is
yes,
very old school. It was shot on film, which really adds to it as well, with film grain in there. It's great. I absolutely love the aesthetic. I really felt like I was sucked into a timepiece and I was back in time with these guys. If this was in color, in a full aspect ratio that we have
yeah,
today,
that would have completely changed the tone of the film.
yeah, I think, even simple shots at the start when Robert Pattinson's climbing the ladder, because you've got a square frame, you could perfectly have the bottom of the ladder in the center of the frame. It doesn't have all the wide
It
scope out the
also
sides.
makes it so that when they've got two shots, or like when they've got one shot of both of the characters talking to each other, because the frame is smaller, they have to be closer to each other than they would have to be if it was
Yeah,
like full screen.
yeah,
Which I think adds to the more like you feel that it's a lot smaller,
yeah,
and it probably is tiny. I don't know exactly what island it was filmed on, but it was shot on a real island.
yeah. It's
In Nova Scotia, I think. And I don't know where Nova Scotia is. I think it's in Scotland.
I am not game to bet on where that is or where it was shot. I don't know. Um,
I know it was filmed on an island in Nova Scotia. I just don't know where that is.
yeah. So, how
And like
about?
the weather conditions were
Oh yeah,
pretty
pretty brutal.
accurate.
But that,
And there were a lot of real seagulls there too. We
yeah.
haven't even mentioned the seagulls once yet, which is a bit of
Well,
a blunder on our part. They're
uh,
kind of a big deal.
well, I was just about to say, how about Robert Pattinson with hitting that seagull? You know what I
Oh
mean?
my goodness, that
Impressive shit.
yeah, that's just
Training for the
his last day
Batman.
there too.
Oh, oh,
He
last.
wasn't supposed to do
Yeah, no,
that.
they did. They weren't supposed to shoot that at all. He just had enough on the set and just went for it, and then turned the
Oh
cameras
yeah,
on.
definitely.
That's out of character. Robert Pattinson just went for it, and they were like, "I suppose we should integrate
Yes.
this into the film." Yeah, that's what happened. Um, yeah, the seagulls and everything. It all really helps add to it, especially where they were shot in the weather. And I think that this would have been a really fun movie to film. I've heard that it is, and that the
Yeah,
cast
I've
have
heard
said
that
that
they
it
had a
was.
lot of
But
fun on set.
yeah, and it's a movie I can't just turn on. I don't think I really need to be prepared, especially for the latter half and how crazy it gets.
Yeah.
I need to be in a mood for this kind of movie. It's like I don't know, something like
I mean, one that comes to mind that you can't really just chuck on a Sunday afternoon for a bit of a laugh is like, I guess, Taxi Driver. You can't really.
yeah, yeah, something like Taxi Driver. I need to be ready to sit down, watch through this whole experience before getting to the climax, and then being 100% there for it. So you're really feeling that visceral impact because we're so like
Yeah.
oversaturated with violence in movies these days that if you just switch to that scene, it's not much. But if you have that context and you've done the waiting, the
Yeah.
payoff, yeah, it's one of
It's
those movies.
because Taxi Driver is not. If you're not paying a lot of attention, you're just kind of half watching it. It's gonna feel like nothing at all is really happening
Yeah,
for a lot of it.
actually, I've got an example. The movie Shame. Have you ever heard of Shame with Michael
I haven't.
Fassbender? That
No.
came out in 2011. It's a Steve McQueen movie, and it's a lot of people like to write it off as a sex movie, but it's like the sex that's in it is shown in a very negative light, in like a very sickening way, because it's mostly focused on sex addiction and how it can destroy someone's life. Watching those scenes and feeling like there's a scene, I'm not spoiling it too much here, where his sister comes to visit and then his sister sleeps with his boss at his apartment, and he's just sitting there and he has to hear it in the next room and he feels sick to his stomach, and you can like sympathize and feel that emotion. It's not something you want to feel. It sucks. It's painful. And I mean, it's a movie with a lot of sex scenes. You can't just throw it on. It's a very sickening film to watch. Very
So you said it's
brilliantly
called
made.
Shame?
Shame. You know,
I'll keep it in mind next time my mum wants to watch a movie.
Oh no, you can't. Nah, it's full on. And I tell you what, if that movie succeeds at anything, by the end of the film, I feel shameful. I feel disgusting after watching it. But that's a testament to the power of that movie. It's very, very well made. But not
But
one
we're
you
not
can
here
just
to
throw
talk
on.
about that movie. So
No, I wouldn't be able to talk about that movie on here. This is probably the most you're going to hear me talk about it. It's very good, but you can't just throw it on, and that's the point. The Lighthouse I could throw on much easier than I could Shame. Shame's full on.
Yeah.
It's just balls to the wall, full graphic nudity, nothing to
Perhaps
hide
even
back.
literal balls to the wall.
There are literal balls to the walls. That was a terrible analogy that I used there. I should. So ironic. What theories do you have about the Lighthouse? Because I have no more notes on it. It's just crazy. There's so many scenes going from scene to scene that are just different, bizarre things, and I really feel like I've said my piece on like just the way it's shot, the sound design, how you don't know what's going on. I think it's just brilliant.
Well, I mean, if we're in spoiler territory,
Yeah.
we haven't even mentioned a word yet about the ending. Which,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that ending scene where not like the ending scene where he's on the beach, but the one where he's in the lighthouse and he's just screaming. I watch that scene all the time on just like a clip of that. That scene's great. I love it.
It's
The
full on.
the sound design of his like screams,
Yeah.
and they're like so distorted you can't even tell. Like for the first couple, you can't even tell if he's screaming or like what's
Yeah.
happening.
Um.
And it's like, holy shit! Because we as the audience know both of the characters are very interested about what's in this light, but we as the audience never see it. Because
Yeah.
in that scene, the camera's perspective is from the light.
Yeah.
It's another scene where Robert Pattinson's looking at the camera.
Yeah. No. I had the beautiful 3D spatial like headphones, so I really got that distorted sound.
Yeah.
I really like not knowing what the light is or what exactly it is. I also like not knowing whether that's a realization that there's really nothing special at all and he's just screaming out of insanity and he's realized he's killed the one person that's with him, or it also works if it is something supernatural that's almost
He's just
possessing
like
him and
seeing
that fucked up.
fucking truth of the universe or some shit.
Yeah, I love that that works both ways as well.
Because his hand is doing a weird thing.
Yeah.
In that scene, he's got it like reached out. So you could say that maybe he's not seeing the truth of the universe, and he's seeing the truth of what happens when you touch a lighthouse lamp with your bare hand.
Yeah, that's also exactly what I interpreted that scene to be.
That would definitely make you give a bit of a shriek.
Yes, for sure. It's crazy, crazy stuff.
And then he just drops and falls all the way down the big spiral stairs.
I tell you what, when he went to unlock the gate to go see the light, I was feeling the anticipation because I was like him. I want to know what's up there, and I really had to put it in perspective how long he had been there, or how long he could have been there for. Long after the ship was supposed to get in.
He was there for... Because he was there for 4 weeks, and then he was supposed to leave. Obviously, that didn't take.
Yep.
And I think he was there for at least another week after that. Because Willem Dafoe does mention that they ran out of food, but whether or not they actually ran out of food or not is up to debate. But I think it makes sense if it was at least a bit after that. Like 5 weeks maybe is lowballing it.
Yeah, I would say maybe 3 or 4 months before, right when you're at the end. Like it's been 3-4 months, like well over double what he was supposed to be there, and it's like no one's ever coming. We are stuck here, and
Mm.
just going nuts.
It is kind of weird that nobody came, even though, because the point of a lighthouse is so that people can navigate storms. So a
Yeah,
storm shouldn't have stopped any ships from arriving, which
yeah.
makes you wonder why they didn't come. Which,
Well, that's where you can play into the hand that it's supernatural again. That killing the
yeah,
seagull meant like the sailors aren't coming anymore now because you've done something like that. Because Willem Dafoe's warning, don't ever
yeah,
fucking do it.
because when he's talking about his old assistant that got enchanted by the light and all that,
Yeah,
when Robert Pattinson says that those are tall tales, Willem Dafoe kind of just laughs at that off. But then he mentions after that he saw Robert Pattinson arguing with a seagull. It's obviously not when he's killed it yet.
yeah,
And then he says not to kill seagulls, and Robert Pattinson says that's a tall tale, and Willem Dafoe goes off immediately
yeah,
at him.
yeah. No, it's
Because clearly that is one that Willem Dafoe takes quite seriously, and he doesn't want Robert Pattinson killing any seagulls.
yeah. No, there were
Perhaps
two
for
moments
the
in the
exact
film.
reason
Yeah, there were there
that
were Yeah, there were two moments in the film where I'm like, yeah, nah, this is all fucked now. The first one was when the boat left and it lingered on the shot before it disappeared in the clouds. I'm like, yeah, these two are not getting off this island. And then the second one was when he completely destroyed the seagull. And some of the
and it
most
has
crazy
that
seagull
long
killing.
pan up to the top of the lighthouse.
Yeah, and the
then you
wind
can see
direction
the weather
changes. Went,
vane
yeah,
change.
they ain't getting off this island. Those are the two moments. Like, it's over. But
Yeah.
it's
A
just
scene
phenomenal.
that honestly almost brought me to tears with how good the acting was
Yeah.
when Willem Dafoe is on the actual verge of crying, and he's begging Robert Pattinson to compliment his lobster. I was watching that, I'm like, this is absolutely heartbreaking. You can see it in his eyes.
He's like,
that
you
he's
like
so...
my lobster, right? I'm about to lose my
You
shit.
fond
Let's
of
just
me
say
lobster? Say it, I've seen it. You wouldn't be saying that if you weren't drunk.
Yeah, no, it's
And then
great
Robert
acting all
Pattinson
around.
continues to diss the lobster, and this is when we get the
the
pinnacle.
the Neptune's
pinnacle of
harpoon monologue.
Oh, that
It's-
one's amazing.
Yeah.
And that one does have relevant details that we should probably bring up.
I'm not sure if it's Neptune or Poseidon's son, but one of them was a shape-shifting creature, and there's a good argument there that Willem Dafoe is that. He's the sea creature, or like he's morphing into half of that while being himself in the top of the lighthouse. Earlier in the film, when Robert Pattinson comes by and sees him getting off and weird shit, that he is all of those things. He's shape-shifting, and it's helped driving
There
Winslow
is
more nuts.
only one point in the film where we see Willem Dafoe and one of Robert Pattinson's hallucinations, as two different things at the same time,
Yeah.
and that's when. But this scene is all very clearly probably not happening because Robert Pattinson's at the top of the lighthouse already, and this is only halfway through the film, way before he gets up there for real.
Yeah.
That's when he finds the tied up body of his old boss, and then
Yep.
turns around and Willem Dafoe grabs him while he's naked, and that has that awesome shot of
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe with the light coming out of his eyes.
That's really cool. I have
That
no idea
shot,
what the
I
fuck
want-
it's about, but
I want that
I want a
fucking-
painting of it.
That would be awesome.
Again, a little bit off subject. I got a painting of a frame from The Wolf of Wall Street where
Oh, yeah.
he's
You
crawled
did
down
send me a
the
picture.
he's crawled down the stairs and he uses his foot to open the door of the Lambo and it drags him all the way up in the air. It's that moment right there, and it's called Lemons and Lambos. It's
You
beautiful.
need to send me a picture of that. That sounds amazing.
I will. You know what? I will do it right now. I'll derail this for a second just if I could send this to you. It's
You know,
so good.
speaking of videos, I watched a Boba Fett one, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've been neglecting it for ages. I recorded it a week and a half ago or something like that, and I had to push my way through it. It's time to get back on the bandwagon. Working a full-time job makes it pretty hard to do, so
Yeah.
I got a lot of reviews of things coming up, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But the Lighthouse is great.
Yeah, I
Please
mean,
go
we're
and see.
not done talking about the Lighthouse. Nowhere close.
All right, well, go on, tell me more, because I haven't had
Uh,
that time to sit and think on it. I'm still in like shock mode of seeing Robert Pattinson fuck a mermaid and Willem Dafoe
you
act
can't
like a
keep putting
dog.
all the pressure on me. It's like the Donkey Punch podcast all over again, where I had to carry the whole thing.
Dude, it was brilliant. Do you know how many views that thing got?
Isn't that like one of the most views?
Yeah, dude, you carried that. All right, let's
I
do
mean,
it
to be
again.
fair, where else are you gonna go for a Donkey Punch podcast?
Yeah, I know. You might be lucky to find a 5 minute review, but like an hour and a half dedicated to it. Oh man, I've got to watch it just so I can
Yeah,
have
no,
context.
that's one of the podcasts I might actually rewatch.
It did very, very well. We also talked about the Batman in that.
That's a
But
funny connection. Back to-
so, what theories do you have on what the hell's going on? Because I just haven't
Alright.
had the time to.
My
Yeah.
This might not hold too much water, but
Yeah.
it's an idea I've had, and it's an idea I kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
It and it doesn't really go as deep as I've kind of bigged it up. But
All
I
right.
think,
Setting up expectation.
yeah, I want to set the expectations low, but this
Alright.
idea, it kind of big if true,
Yeah.
is that obviously we know that Robert Pattinson's character lied about killing. He assumed the identity of his boss after killing him
Yes.
for at least a little while. And even before this was revealed, when Willem Dafoe said that his second died, the idea popped in my head that the second Willem Dafoe presumably killed was actually Willem Dafoe's boss. And Willem Dafoe killed him for the light, and then I figured out in that moment that Robert Pattinson was going to kill Willem Dafoe for the light, and it was going to be a cycle.
That idea did cross my mind as well. That it was this cycle, and that's why Willem Dafoe is so protective in the first place. He got to see, like, he went mad. He got to see whatever it is that's up there, and this is going with the idea that it is something supernatural. And
It doesn't even necessarily need to be supernatural for that idea to work.
I mean, well, what would there'd just be in reality? There's just a light up there. It's nothing that special.
I mean, lighthouses are pretty cool, though.
Big foghorns and just a bright light that's blinding.
Yeah.
No, let's say there's
But
something.
Willem Dafoe definitely sees something in the light, and it didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't drive him as off the wall as it did Robert Pattinson. Willem Dafoe could handle it.
Yeah, there's definitely a good argument that it's a cycle and that Willem Dafoe
But-
did the exact same thing, went nuts,
Yeah, no.
killed his partner to have the light, and now he won't share
There
it
is
because there's
another
something
thing
special. Yeah.
that I think ties into this, and it's that at the end when Robert Pattinson falls, at the first fall, when he falls down the ladder before he falls down the stairs, we hear him break his leg.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe throughout the film mentions multiple ways of how he got his broken leg. And I
Yeah.
think that he might have fallen down the ladder after seeing the light for the first time, just like Robert Pattinson did, but obviously he didn't die, or maybe he did, who knows?
There's 1,000 ways you can interpret it. But see, things like that, I need to view this movie again or have more time to sit on it
Yes.
because there's so much in it. There's a
Yeah.
lot packed in.
We haven't even talked about the actual final frame of the film, where there's the obvious parallel to Prometheus.
Yes, I thought it might have ended with him seeing the light and the whole distorted screaming, and I'm glad we got a little bit more closure as to how his character ended and what ended up happening. So I was really happy with the final shot. I thought it's just enough that you're so confused and
There
happy.
are two ways you can interpret that ending. It's either he fell and then died and then the ending is his hell after he died.
Yeah.
Or, because we see logs in the background of the ending, he may have died like a while before ever going to the lighthouse, and the entire thing is like a dream that he's having on the beach, which is an idea that Willem Dafoe mentions earlier, that
Yeah.
this is none of it's real and he's
Yeah.
having a dream
Maybe you're
in
still in
Canada.
Canada. Yeah. Um.
Willem Dafoe's accent in this film is great. We haven't mentioned it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. We love the sea chanties, man, and the R's and. Oh god. Yeah. No, it's great. I don't
You
like.
lion dog.
I don't like
This
the
the scene.
idea that it's all a dream.
I
It's
don't like that either.
it's nice that it's there to help provide with the millions of theories, but
I think that's more of a hell for
yeah,
Robert Pattinson after he died. And if seagulls really are the souls of sailors, perhaps the sailor pecking on his fucking stomach is the man he killed 20 minutes ago. Who
well,
claims to be a sailor.
I don't think it's hell. I think that is the island. Whether it's 2 weeks after what happened, he's like, let's. I guess I interpreted it like just on pure, not thinking about it, just interpreting it as I'm seeing it. I thought, okay, yeah, no, he's fallen down these staircases or whatever. He's realized that there is nothing special about the light. He's just screamed in madness because there was no point to anything and there really was nothing up here. It was just that Willem Dafoe got crazy protective about it for no reason
There
because it was
is
his
an
job.
important thing to note about the lighthouse is the doors to it open themselves, which lends credence to the idea that there is at least some supernatural things going
Yeah.
on. Or maybe that was fake too.
There
Who
has
knows?
to be because you have the seagull die and then the whole wind changes and
Yeah.
there's all that stuff. But let's just play around with the idea that it's 100% realistic and these two have just gone completely insane.
Yeah, no,
There's a huge
compared to all
argument.
of the other things that we know that Robert Pattinson imagined, it's very, very easy for him to imagine him just imagining the things opening by themselves while he does it.
Yeah. Again, you can interpret the film both ways, but let's say it's all 100% sane.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's
sane isn't a
reality.
great description.
It's reality, and this film can also work as a huge analogy of a power struggle. That this is a story of how someone like Willem Dafoe, who's in charge and has the higher up role of working the lighthouse, can abuse an employee however he chooses, and how far that can be pushed before people go insane and just snap. That you know that whole protectiveness about the light, the light's really nothing other than Willem Dafoe's importance in his head that this is my position and I don't want to share this and I don't want you to see it because it's
Yeah.
all I have over you, because now we've shared names, we've shared everything. So that works if you want to watch it in reality, so that when Robert Pattinson gets up there he sees that there really is nothing but a light, because that's what there should just be. He screams in the realization of it's just a scream of madness. It's not like a realization. He's just gone completely off the end, and that maybe 2 weeks later, eventually almost starved to death or got himself to the rocks just off the shore of the island, and then eventually died and had seagulls just eat him to death. That's more how I interpreted it. Or you can say the broken leg and things like that. He only got so far out of the lighthouse before he ended up getting there.
The thing about that is that the fact that there are all the logs on the shore in the ending.
Yeah.
And there aren't many trees on the island, but it wouldn't be the first time he imagined seeing logs in the vicinity, because there's the much, much earlier scene where he imagines seeing in the water all of the logs and the body of his boss, but we obviously don't know.
Yeah. You'll see, there's a lot that I missed, but just first viewing, that's kind of how I interpreted it. I liked it that way, that they're both just gone nuts, and that maybe there's nothing's real, and you have no idea what's really going on. You get to be put inside the head of someone that has gone completely insane. Not that, maybe they are just sane blokes and there's supernatural things going
Yeah,
on.
even right now, I'm flip-flopping like every 12 nanoseconds about whether or not I believe it's supernatural.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and that's where it's great. It works both ways. If you want to
Because
watch it
like
as supernatural,
I'm
it's
like, all right.
creepy. It's
Because I was right about to say like I like to believe that most of it's real, but even as I was thinking about saying that, I was like, no, but that's probably like a hallucination. That might be a hallucination, and
yeah.
also that and then I'm like, but no, that's very, it's a little,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. And then
You
I
could.
flip back to
Yeah.
wanting to believe it's real.
Uh,
I
y- you go back and forth over and over, and that's just a testament to how great it is. Because
Yeah,
it's not just, oh, we don't
I
know if it's
mean,
this ending or this ending. Both of them
the
are
fact
brilliant.
that there are so many different interpretations of an ending either means it's a very, very good ending or it's a very bad one.
No, very, very good in this instance because
This
each
is
one
very
is
good.
good. There's not.
It's clearly intentional that you're not supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah, like
Um,
with The Shining, there's some terrible theories, but with this, every one of them's great. If there's something supernatural going on, you
maybe
don't
this,
understand it, so it's
maybe
creepy and you
this
like it.
film is about how Robert Eggers faked the moon landing.
For fuck's sake! Oh no, it's about the
Don't you think it's a
Holocaust,
bit
man.
don't you think it's a bit suspicious that he's this good at directing after
Yeah,
only like
yeah,
2
no,
movies?
it's
Clearly,
definitely
he
an
directed the
apology.
moon landing.
Yeah. It was an apology for
Like
faking the moon landing. That's what this movie
50 years
was.
ago or whenever that was.
Yeah. You
If
know,
Robert Eggers was he even born during the moon landing? Who
who
knows?
knows? He's actually a pretty young looking guy. I'm not sure. He's probably mid 30s or something.
Oh yeah,
Um,
speaking of young-looking guys, isn't the this is something I thought earlier today. Isn't the Boba Fett show supposed to take place like during the sixth Star Wars movie?
yeah, Boba Fett's like aged up 20, 30 years in like the 30 minutes he was in the Sarlacc pit. Uh,
Maybe that was a dream as well, and he's secretly in the lighthouse, and that's going to be the big reveal at the end of the show.
oh my god. Yeah, no, he's just up there. The light, it's like a bantha. Yes. That's what it is. We've cracked it. The lighthouse is like a bantha. That's
Yes.
beautiful. I don't know if we can top what we've just said there. We should just end it right now. That's
I'm
it,
trying
man.
to think if there's anything else I need to mention.
Yeah, look,
I,
there's a lot, and I won't mention everything. It's just impossible. And
there's
if we forget
way
stuff,
too
at least there's
much to
surprises.
mention individually.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out, I just want to quickly go over what your favorite scene was in the film and
Ooh.
why.
Fuck, that's a brilliant question.
Because there's a lot of good contenders. I've even got more than one in mind, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to not look past the climax where, that I don't know if it's like, are we talking a single shot or a whole 5 minute sequence? Because a lot of shit bleeds
just like,
together.
I don't know, like
but
kind of the idea of a scene, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, I was going to say it's hard to
It's
not
like-
look past the climax where, Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson's just going to light a smoke again after supposedly burying Willem Dafoe. And then he just comes out with an axe and hits him in the shoulder.
Oh yeah, that shocked my mum who was sitting 5 meters away from me while I was watching the
Yeah,
film.
it's just all kind of visceral and very quick and like, you're not
It's
taking
kinda
the
funny.
light from
I
me.
hear a lot of people saying they got like jump scared by it, but me, I don't really deal with
No.
horror that well. It
I
didn't
didn't-
really surprise me.
No,
at
yeah,
all.
it didn't feel like
It's
a
not
jump
like I
scare.
was expecting him to still be alive. Or maybe he was dead after, or who knows.
Dude, you're confusing me too much. We gotta stop this. Yeah, I didn't think he was dead. I thought he was just lying there buried. It wasn't a jump scare, but I didn't expect it. And you had the couple seconds of going, oh yeah, he's here now and he's got an axe and this is crazy before it hits him. But it was just so quick, even though you understood
Yeah.
everything as it was happening. And I don't know, it's the climax of the madness. Now they're finally going to kill one another.
Fucking Robert Pattinson just takes an axe to the shoulder like a champion.
Yeah, dude, he's
like-
meant to be Batman.
He like punches Willem Dafoe to the ground and then just picks up the axe and just one swing down on his head. And that's Willem Dafoe dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of great scenes. Even when he's punching him earlier, and Willem Dafoe's like, "Hey, you're killing me." You know that for
Yeah.
some reason that felt real, like an actual old man
Yeah.
saying that after you're punching him a lot. Willem Dafoe's brilliant in this movie.
Yeah, him. That scene where he says like "you're killing me," I was like, "Holy shit!" Because
Yeah,
I really like Willem Dafoe, and I didn't want to like even thinking about. I don't want to hate any of his characters, but Thomas Wake in this film is a hard guy to get behind.
yeah,
Because there's also the thing we haven't mentioned: severance without pay, that
yeah,
severance without pay is such a dog move.
yeah.
If it's true as we see it, but who knows? Maybe it's not.
Who
Maybe
knows?
maybe
Nah,
Robert Pattinson really isn't
I
that
was
hard.
there last night, and I'm just screaming at my TV like as loud as I can. Stop it, Winslow! That's like award-winning actor Willem Dafoe. You're killing him. And he couldn't hear me, and it just went on for a while, and then he was curled up, laying on the ground. It was a sad moment.
And the monologue. Do you? I haven't been able to find information on this anywhere, but do you think he was really getting dirt thrown in his mouth while he was talking?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I
very,
think it was.
very
That's why,
impressive.
like, you can see he's
I don't
trying
even
to
know
keep
how you
acting
fake
through it.
that.
Nah,
I don't
nah.
even know how you fake that.
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
so-
I'm pretty sure that's 100% real. Like, it's just part of the set when
They
it's rainy
actually
and muddy.
buried
And...
Willem Dafoe alive for this movie.
Yeah, dude, that's how you know it's good. Yeah, I think I'd give it an 8 or a 9. I'm not concrete on that yet
I
because
don't
again I
even know
need to
how
see
you
it a
could give
bunch.
this less than a 10.
For me, a 10 is like you have to see this in your lifetime. You just have to. It's one of the all-time greats. I've only given one movie a 10 so far,
And that's
and
Jaws, right?
no, it was the Avengers,
Uh,
the first one, just because of
oh yeah, you haven't reviewed Jaws properly. But
no.
I
But
know
Jaws, I
you're
would give a 10.
gonna give, yeah.
You know what I mean? And The
That's what I'm
Lighthouse
saying.
might get a 10, but I need to see it more. I've only seen it once, and I'm like, what's going on? A second viewing, knowing where the ending is, what it is, and where it's going will really help. Um, but regardless of whatever point grade I give it, it's fantastic. It's brilliant.
Yes.
So, I love The Lighthouse, but I do want to talk about some other things before we close this podcast
I
up.
just wanted to mention that my favorite
Oh,
scene
yes,
in
yes,
the
go on.
film, it's kind of an understated, not very important. It's not unimportant, but it's the scene where Willem Dafoe is just really getting into Robert Pattinson about like a single stain on the floor in the kitchen.
Oh, yes, yeah,
And
that's
that's
really
one of
good.
his like kind of monologues. It's a bit more of a back and forth than other scenes, but
Yeah.
just he's such
The man knows how to
Willem
roast
Dafoe's such a good
people.
actor.
He knows how to roast people as like an old
Yeah.
timey sailor.
You lion dog.
Yeah. Um yeah, there's so many great ones. So taking the
If I had a
lighthouse
steak, I'd fuck it. That's my favorite line from Robert Pattinson.
Okay, alright, yeah, no, this movie should be an 11. So with the lighthouse in context, going into the Batman, are you excited for the Batman or are
I'm
you going to see
definitely
it?
more interested in it now than before I watched The Lighthouse.
Well, for me, I know everyone was on the hype train of Spider-Man No Way Home, and I made
I
it
don't
clear.
think the Batman's going to be much like The Lighthouse, though. I'd be surprised.
No. A lot of people are on the hype train for Spider-Man No Way Home, and really, I'd made it clear on the channel here that I was more scared and nervous about that movie rather than
I
excited.
still haven't seen that. Wasn't that actually like not bad?
It was
think my
good.
mate watched it
I can't
today.
believe
He
you
quite
haven't seen
liked
it. I was just about to like go in.
I still know incredibly little about what happens in it.
No, that's really good. Well, Willem Dafoe is obviously in it, and
Well, that's me sold. I'm gonna watch it right now.
he
Fuck this
he
podcast.
said he'd only come back to Green Goblin if he could do his own stunts. Now he is well in his 50s or 60s. He's 66, and he said he'd only come back if again insisting that he would do his own stunts. And my guy just wrecks Tom Holland, and when you see it, you will know. I love this man. It was so
Oh,
nice.
there's another thing I forgot to mention about my
All right, all
about
right, all
why.
right. Go on.
It's the fact that one of the things that made me think. No, yeah, one of the things that made me think that Willem Dafoe was lying about his name is something you can only learn outside of the film. But in the script, neither of the characters are referred to by name ever, other than when they're speaking. They're only ever referred to as young and old,
Yeah,
which means both of their name. Like you can't just like see the script and be like, okay, his name is definitely Winslow, his name is definitely Thomas.
yeah.
So
Oh,
that
they could
makes
be
me
lying
think.
about everything still.
Yeah,
uh,
I do think it's funny that they only had gaslighting, which
yeah.
that's
um.
kind of.
Anyway, uh,
But yes, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
yes,
Willem
Willem
Dafoe
Dafoe kills it.
suplexing Tom.
Seriously, he kills it in that movie. He really steals the show. Um,
Hey, speaking of Tom Holland, I keep seeing ads on buses about the Uncharted movie,
I was going to talk about that later too. We'll get there. Um, I was more nervous about Spider-Man was my thing, but ever
and
since this
clearly it
Batman movie,
exceeded expectations.
it did. It's not perfect. I think Spider-Man 2 is still superior. The 2004 one. Um, but
I actually might watch the Raimi trilogy because thinking about it recently, I think I might actually like Spider-Man 1 more than 2.
one is
Um,
great. It's
I know it.
fantastic.
I
The
know it's not a controversial opinion to like one, but I think like I'm gonna have to watch those two again, and maybe I don't know, maybe I like one more than two.
Well, one is brilliant, and a lot of people like one over two. I mean, it's like the perfect origin story. For me, two improved, like it only
You know,
improved on ways that
there are
on
so
things that
many
one did, but
things in two that are incredible.
one
But
for me it just feels a tiny smidge dated because of that early 2000s vibe. It's a pro and a con. I really love it, but you can also
yeah,
feel that it's there and like okay, they haven't
and
done a Spider-Man
I,
movie
I,
before.
I definitely I can say outright that I like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin more than Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. Not that
Yeah.
either of them are bad. I just love how unashamedly Willem Dafoe is just evil.
Oh yeah. No,
Like
I
when he's
when he's
the you
beating
know
the shit out of Peter at the end,
no,
it's
I was just thinking
visceral.
about the fact where he's just like uh he just says like completely straight faced that like as a superhero you never know when some maniac is going to give you a sadistic choice. Just like
Yeah, he
completely
just owns it.
self-aware.
Um, well, the visceralness I was talking about at the very end, he brings that to Spider-Man: No Way Home, and you don't expect that kind of like shit in one of these modern Marvel movies. So it was really refreshing. But outside of that, look, we're going off topic again. We just love Willem Dafoe. We do what we want here. Um,
We should
I was more
just
concerned. I was more
make every
concerned.
episode about Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, it'll just be Willem Dafoe in like that drip pose where he's down on like one knee and like the pink shorts and shit.
Oh, that's picture is so amazing.
Yeah. Um, I was more concerned about that movie, but the Batman from the moment it was announced and I seen a trailer, I've been extremely excited for. I think I'm the most excited for this movie over everything else coming this year because the director did the original Cloverfield. Most recently, did the Planet of the Apes films, which were well received. Um, but it's the direction that they're taking this. I don't know how much information you know about the movie.
I have none. I don't watch movie trailers ever, really.
Um,
So I know nothing about
this
this movie.
movie, it's not the Lighthouse, but it's got elements where it has the same sort of style. You know, the like vigilant filter on things where it's basically just a like a black circle. Like the edges are all kind of blurry and black.
Yeah,
That's on like every frame of the movie, or at least in the trailers and stuff. Thing like people seem almost warped and distorted at the edge of the frame, so you're focused solely on the center with Bruce Wayne a lot. And it's
that's
got
cool.
such a style. It feels like a Gotham. It's not Chicago. Like the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises are great, and it's New York and Chicago really. That's what Gotham is. This feels like a comic book Gotham, a little bit closer to Michael Keaton's, but not as gothic with the style of like the arched buildings and stuff like that and the painted stuff. It's more like a neo nightmare that's constantly raining and just is
Mm.
gritty and dirty.
I liked how Gotham was depicted in Lego Batman.
Yes. It's a lot like that. It
Yeah,
just very
Lego
rainy.
Batman is always what I have in mind with Gotham. Like this very, what's the word?
Which Lego Batman are you talking about?
Just obviously the first one.
Because the first
Um,
one, it's more based off it's Keaton's movies from '89 and '92. Um, it's a little bit like that, but it's a bit of a more modern city. Like imagine what Times Square looks
just
like,
mentioning like
except
Lego
it's
Batman now, I've got the theme stuck in my head.
yeah, it's great. We'll have to talk about Batman at some point, but
I mean, maybe we can talk about the Batman when it comes out.
I would be happy to. I'm gonna be reviewing it the night it comes out, and then podcasting it. I have further discussions, but this Batman, what we know briefly is that
When
uh,
does it come out? It's like
it is
March
2nd
4th,
of
right?
March here in
Oh,
Australia. We get it a day early because we're special. Yes.
hell
Um,
yes. There's a cinema at the supermarket or the shopping center I work at, so
yeah.
I might even be able to cop it after work if
Oh,
that's
please. What we know is this. Uh, this is a Batman that has been Batman for 2 years. So he's very young. He's just spent his entire life training so that he can beat the shit out of criminals, like get the revenge, the payback of what happened to him when he was a kid. So he's just young and
what
violent.
happened to him as a kid.
He was bitten by a spider. he but he's basically just being extremely violent, breaking arms, beating the shit out of people, and just thinking that he can solve every problem with his fists. Enter the Riddler, who's the main villain of this film, which we have only ever had Jim Carrey's interpretation of. We're getting a more a Zodiac killer kind of vibe that, hey, yes, you solve your problems by beating the shit out of people, but I'm just going to start leaving duct taped dead bodies all over the city. And you've got to actually think and solve this puzzle before I keep leaving more bodies. That's kind of the vibe we have with it. It's a bit like Seven meets Batman. It looks really good, and Colin Farrell is also there as the Penguin. I'm not sure how much he will be in it, but he is there. Zoe
Will
Kravitz is
he
there.
be as good as Danny DeVito as the Penguin?
I think he will be up there. I really do. He's funny. He's got these prosthetics on his face, so you can't even tell it's Colin Farrell. It looks amazing. A lot of what they are doing is practical. If you watch one of the trailers, the Batmobile looks like a Mustang, and it's flying through this fucking explosion before landing, and you see like the suspension kicking in as it catches the car, and you'll see it if you watch one of these trailers. It's fantastic. It also keeps with the Nirvana "Something in the Way" song. They've been using that for the marketing the entire time, and it works really well. Uh, Outside of Colin Farrell being Penguin, we also have Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. There's a lot here, and I'm extremely excited to just see, you know, Seven meets Batman. Like that's such a cool idea and look for a film. It looks a little bit like a Fincher film, crossed with something like The Lighthouse, where it's like very stylized and focused on its vision. It is not connected to anything else. It's not concerned with referencing other shit. It's just here existing in this world, and we might get, 3 movies out of it if we're lucky. Now, the rumor
Hmm.
was that if this is a smashing success, they're either going to have another attempt at Mr. Freeze in a second movie, which is great. Would love to see that.
I'd
Or
love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger reprise his beloved role.
dude, anything is possible, alright? We're living in an age where the X-Men show from the
I used
90s
to.
is coming back and multiple Spider-Men are allowed to be in one movie at a
Speaking of
time.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, this is a completely unrelated thing, but just today, while I was watching, because I work at a car wash,
Yeah.
but obviously people in podcast don't know that.
Yeah.
In one of the cars, just in the door, was a copy of Kindergarten Cop on Blu-ray.
Nice. Did you take it?
It's pretty awesome. I wish I could have.
You fucking idiot. The fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. um, I love.
But yeah, I was
Yeah.
very surprised to see that.
Yeah, that does not happen often. That might be the only gun in the world that has that in his car.
And
Yeah.
I probably was the only person in the car wash who even thought anything of it.
Yeah, and now you brought it to my attention, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
why is this
And
guy
now-
wasting my time?
Now thousands of people the world over.
Thousands of people. Well, dude, you can't put it past. We have people listening now. People want to
Yeah.
know.
Fuck, how many does that Jaws podcast have?
36,000 or something.
Damn. I guess we really... you can't top the views on the fucking Dark Knight recreation thing.
I mean, that's growing too. It's all going really, really well. The growth in subs here on this channel, though, is doing much better.
That's good.
Not because I'm uploading
Dude,
regularly,
if you search
but
Dark
like...
Knight GTA, it's the first video.
Yes! Yes! It's because of the like to dislike ratio. Not that you can see the dislikes now, but there were basically none.
It's
But
97k views.
I know, right? We did a
Gonna
great
hit
job.
100k before like April, probably.
That's amazing. But I don't want to, stroke my own ego more than I already have here. But we'll keep going. So, you're excited to see the Batman now?
Yeah, I'm quite keen on it.
Because I think it's gonna be great. I really
Holy
do.
shit. Because the third result is the comparison video you uploaded.
Yeah.
And I just see the thumbnail with the fucking red circles on the iron sights of the gun. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, that's been it the whole time. It's that's the fucking idea. You do shit like that, and people are like, "What the fuck? What is that?" Don't worry about that. Let's not talk about that. You're breaking down my ego right now. Okay? Don't compliment me and then backhand me.
Are they even the same kind of gun?
I think so. I don't know. I just did it. It worked, didn't it? That
Because I
was the
think the
least.
one in the movie is like a Glock, and the one in GTA is like a Desert Eagle.
That is the least amount of effort I have ever put into a video. I just took that video,
you
put it right
literally
next to the other one,
copy
put like
pasted.
the background of the Dark Knight wallpaper or some shit on there, and it gains thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah, that one's got 21k views, but you can't monetize that. No chance. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Oh no, I couldn't monetize either of them.
Oh yeah, because of all the audio.
Yeah, but I mean
We should have
that.
dubbed it ourselves. That would have.
Well, it's got our names attached to it. We did it. If people watching Nitro Spaz's shit or someone comes across that, sees who it's done by, they can just smash in either one of our names, comes up with all of our shit. So, it's not lost or completely detached from us, but that video stays there as a reminder that I can do this. This shit is possible. I can make videos
All
and
you
make this
have to
happen.
do is rip off one of the most beloved films of the last 2 decades.
That's right. So anyway, I'm really excited for the Batman, but there are other movies that are also coming out or have come out, and
Cats
things.
2.
No, for fuck's sake! I don't want to see James Corden as a fat pussy. I get that with just the normal James Corden show. If I fucking come across it. No, there's other things that have come out months and months ago that I just haven't talked about, touched on. Wanted to get your thoughts on briefly. One of them being the Diary of a Wimpy Kid reboot. Again, the animated movie. I don't know if you heard about it or seen
I
it.
have heard of it. I haven't seen it. Is it already out?
Yes, there was a trailer. I watched that and went, "What the fuck?" And then the movie came out on Disney Plus, and I watched like the first 5 minutes. Wasn't gonna sit there and watch it, and like, oh, this was so bad, I turned it off. I just put it on to see what it was like, and I haven't watched any more than that, and it was horrible. It is really, really bad. Those movies you can't. I understand that like they're based off of books, and you could interpret that so many different ways. But the movies are their own beast entirely, and you can't reboot those. That's Greg Heffley.
There were 3 movies with the original actors, right?
Yes.
I still have. I because you had the movie diary as a kid.
Yeah.
Or had specifically because you let me borrow it and then you left Adelaide before I gave it back.
So that's
Still
where it
have
went.
somewhere.
I want it
Yeah.
back, cunt.
I'll bring it when I come back to all that.
Good. We'll settle this like men.
I'll make sure. Yeah, no, we're gonna fight to the death, and the winner gets to keep the
Yeah,
movie done.
yeah. We'll just, just, yeah. I'll review the movie finally, and the opening skit will be you and me throwing down over that book.
Just like fucking just
Like, it's not even
no
a,
more
okay.
fun, just actual combat.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like a warm up when we're ready to like grab each other. It's just like standing
We're
point
just
blank,
gonna
and you
meet
just
in the shed and just
yeah.
beat the shit out
No,
of
I
each
just
other.
wanted to start with like not even a second of footage before like you and me are standing a foot away from each other, and you just clock me in the head as hard as you can. Like not even a second to think about. It's just on, and we're just on the ground, just wailing into one another before like trying to get weapons and choke each other out, like just, like street rules. Grab a brick or some shit. Just go.
Just like, yeah, there's a fucking folded chair next.
There's a folded chair. You just start going at me, man. Just kicking this shit out of me. Oh, I'm on the ground. Like no one's
cardboard.
jumping in to stop this. It's just going. Before like you walk away with a book, like with a blood nose, like yeah, I fucking earned this, cunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Be there or be square.
anyway,
Maybe
I
that
didn't.
could be like a fan meetup. An event.
We just beat the shit out of each other.
Live.
Fight Club. Let's go. Anyway, look, that movie, I didn't see it. It looked horrible, but there's other movies that have come out, like The Matrix Resurrections, which I am going to see very soon and also review. Have you seen the movie or not?
I have not seen it. I didn't even know it was already out.
Are you
I
a
heard
fan
about it, like,
of the Matrix trilogy?
I've only watched the first two, actually. I haven't never ended up watching the third one.
You want to watch the first one and then just pretend that they never made any more ever and enjoy that for 6 months before watching 2 and 3 and then getting the full picture, because they're so different. The first one feels like a underground, under-budgeted film that's just amazing. I love
Yeah,
the
the
first
second
Matrix.
one definitely has a much higher budget, you can tell.
I was excited for a fourth entry, and what I heard was that only one of the Wachowskis have come back to do it, but they've basically done it as a parody of itself, like as a huge joke and a middle finger to WB. And they're self-referential of the Matrix movies existing within this fourth Matrix movie. And, you know, they try to do a lot of the
That
same
sounds
things.
like it could be interesting.
Yeah,
they do
it kind of does. I'm not sure, so I'm going to
Have
see it and review it. So expect
really
that very
heard,
soon.
like, what people think of the movie?
People hate it. People don't like it at all.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, people are like, wow,
excited.
they just parodied themselves and made fun of everything that was cool just to, you know, middle finger the company. And I guess that's kind of like the point of the Matrix. But
Yeah, the point of the Matrix is, like, fuck big corporations and
Yeah.
governments. Which
So-
is pretty based, and thinking about it now, that's quite an epic message.
oh, it's so epic. So
Um,
I will be reviewing that soon. Outside of the Matrix Resurrections, Eternals came out ages ago. I haven't talked about it at all, and I've been reviewing current Marvel movies and what the fuck, whatever.
Eternals.
Uh,
No, that wasn't what we were talking about. We were talking about, like, what if.
yeah. So Eternals, I have not seen it because I'm not interested. I don't care. Marvel thinks that because they've got the Marvel logo attached to everything that we're just gonna go and see and eat it up because, you know, it all connects
Eternals
now.
has, like, 6 random superheroes in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, think of the Justice League, except they all wear the same pale-colored dark costume.
Aren't the Avengers supposed to be the Marvel Justice League?
No, like here's Superman with laser eyes. Here's the Flash who runs fast. Like it is the Justice League.
Oh.
Except they've been on Earth this entire time and they've never done
So
anything
it's
for reasons.
Just like the parody Justice League and Invincible, except J.K. Simmons isn't there to fuck them all up.
Yeah, pretty much. Watch Invincible, by the way.
Yeah,
We said that at the start, but watch Invincible. So, Eternals, I haven't seen yet. I have, however, seen Ghostbusters Afterlife. Have you seen that film?
I've seen Ghostbusters 2016. Have you seen that film?
No, and I never want to.
That's next podcast. Next podcast, we're going to talk about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the new one, Ghostbusters 2016, American Psycho 2.
And then we'll just sprinkle a bit of fucking young Sheldon in there for good measure.
Yeah, we're going to review all of the great movies.
We're gonna cram it into a 10-hour podcast.
Hey, you slept. You didn't end up watching The Lighthouse for a really long time, then you watched it and you loved it. It was just like...
No, don't go there. Don't even try and compare Young Sheldon to The Lighthouse. Don't do it. Don't bother.
I wasn't going to compare Young Sheldon to The Lighthouse. I was going to try it with American Psycho too.
It's just as bad.
It's worse.
A lot of people really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was good, but it is just the first Ghostbusters all over again.
The first
Almost beat for beat.
Ghostbusters is as good as Ghostbusters is going to be, probably.
Yeah, I love the first Ghostbusters. I really do.
It's great.
And it was really
I actually
just...
like 2 as well. I
like 2. That painting is terrifying. So, Ghostbusters Afterlife, it was good, but it was just the first Ghostbusters, really. I mean, it's different, but it was the same
kind of
beats.
like what The Force Awakens is to A New Hope.
Yes, it's that, and it also has a bit of a Stranger Things vibe thrown in there because, you know, a lot of them are kids, some of them are from Stranger Things. So, it was enjoyable, but it, you know, at the end of the day, why watch that when you could just watch the original Ghostbusters again? It doesn't do too much for me. Uncharted, that's another one, and
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet, but does anyone think it's going to be good? I don't know what's coming out right now, but he's not Nathan
it's
Drake.
already out, I'm sure.
Tom Holland's not Nathan Drake. Like, what do we all expect this movie?
Anything like
No.
Nathan Drake from the
Mark
games.
Wahlberg.
Have you played the games now?
Yeah, I've played all 4.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Did you like them?
I love
I guess
them.
you did if you played all 4.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Hey, what you doing over there?
Yeah.
You know, you want to go get some treasure or something? Like, what the fuck? It was on crack when they made that decision. It's not Uncharted. It could be fun, but it's not going to be like Uncharted. It's just got Uncharted slapped on there for name's sake.
You know who would make... I remember mentioning this when, like, it was like in the first podcast.
Yeah.
That fucking... What's his name? The pilot in New Star Wars. Poe.
Yeah.
Is dressed exactly like Nathan Drake from Uncharted 3.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
Far more like Nathan Drake than Tom Holland of all people ever will.
Yeah.
Tom Holland... Like, is it supposed to be a very young Nathan Drake?
Supposedly, last minute, they're like, yeah, this is an origin story, but we got that in the 3rd game? Like how he met Sully?
Well, the 4th game also had like his origin story with his brother.
Yeah, like, okay. Well, it's not unnecessary. They just slapped the name on for name's sake.
Is it not going to be canon to the games? I feel like that's probably the direction they'd take.
Yeah.
It's just like the same characters, it's not technically canon.
Well, I think they're trying to, but it has, from the trailers, the plane sequence from the 3rd game, so they're trying to imply that that's happened to him twice in his lifetime. Anyway, I will see it, I'll review it.
In the trailer, all I can think of is the Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Hell yeah.
That trailer is so good, I love it.
Anyway, I'm just kind of power blasting through these because
like,
I've got to wrap this up very soon.
That's fine.
Jackass 4 has just come out. I really want to see Jackass 4 because it's a reunion. I love those idiots. Have you seen the Jackass movies?
I've seen bits and pieces.
They are fucked up and they are funny. I love the Jackass movies. I have a great idea for the opening. Yeah, I have a great idea for the opening of that review if I get around to reviewing it.
When's your next Marvel review coming out, dude? It's like, you're up to fucking one of them. I don't remember which one.
Um, I'm up to Infinity War, and I'm looking at that coming out in maybe another month or two. I've just got to get things set up. I'm waiting for a set to actually be built, but
A set
it's on
to
the
be
way.
built.
Yeah. I'm up in the scale every time. There's gonna be like 10 or 11 of us.
I can't
So
wait for you to get up to the Captain Marvel one and not try at all.
yeah, no, we're just gonna yeah. What there's that? What movie? What are you talking about? We're just gonna skip it.
You
Anyway,
just like speedrun that one.
yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
Tack it onto another review as like an epilogue.
Yeah. Kingsman came out. We got a third Kingsman film. Have you seen any of those movies
I've seen
before?
the first one. My friend made me watch it. It was pretty good.
It's
I
really
didn't mind
good.
it. I haven't seen the second
James Bond movies just got so serious, and this reminded me how fun a spy movie could be. I love the first
watched the
one,
new
even the second
Third
one I really love. But yes, the third one's just come out, and I don't know. I really want another one with Eggsy, but I understand that they really wrapped it up in the second film, which you haven't seen.
I
Uh,
don't remember which character Eggsy is. Is
the
that
main
like
character.
Yeah, okay.
But this third one's like a history period piece, and it's just something fresh for Matthew Vaughn to do. His crazy action style, in a different time period. It keeps it fresh for him and everyone else on the set. And, I'm down for it. I think it'll be pretty good. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen reviews, but all these are reviews that hopefully I will come out with. However, if I haven't, here's brief thoughts. And that is the end of newer movies and stuff. However, I do want to talk about a stupid movie of the week because...
Holy shit, it's actually the stupid movie of
Oh,
the
yeah.
last 2 years because we haven't done a podcast.
Stupid movie of the year. Yeah, it's been that long. It's called Mega Boa, right?
Oh, I can already imagine.
Now, there's a Mega
Is this
Shark
one of those-
franchise, right? And Mega Boa only came out a couple months ago, and I really, really wanted to review it for one major reason. However, I've just been crushed with time, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I'm going to mention it here. Now, have you seen my Sharktopus review?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I
Yeah.
watched it.
Well, you remember that the actor Eric Roberts from The Dark Knight is in that movie.
Yes.
And that was mind-blowing what happened. How did his career get here? Well, Eric Roberts is back from Mega Boa. And that was like my whole reason for I want to come back. I want to see this. And I don't know anything about it other than obviously there's a huge boa snake. I don't know anything. It's just going to be stupid. But that is going to get a stupid movie of the year. Hopefully we can make these more regular so it's back to week.
Yeah, no.
But we'll see how we go. But that's it for today's podcast or the return. Thank you everybody so much for joining us. If you
I
like
feel
this,
like we had a lot of fun with that one. It wasn't
I
that
did.
bad.
The Lighthouse is brilliant.
Yeah, there was definitely
it
a
was-
lot to chew on.
Yeah, it was great catching up. Thank you for spending some time here with us, and you as well, Jackson, for being here.
doubt
If you
anybody's actually
liked
still
hearing us talk nonsense and veering off the path of what we're supposed to be talking about to talk about other things, tangents and all
Yeah.
that, consider liking the video or subscribing or something like that because
If you hated it, consider disliking.
yeah, consider disliking it. I won't see it, but you can throw it in there, mix it up a bit, keep it fresh.
Don't worry, I'll still dislike your videos.
Yeah, you'll dislike. I can count on you to dislike them. Everyone's
So it doesn't
gonna
even
dislike.
tell creators how many dislikes there are.
Everyone is gonna dislike it now.
That's good.
No, that's not good.
Terrible.
We just put a
Terrible.
lot of effort into this, and now it's just
I
gonna.
didn't. You wrote notes and shit. I just wing it. I didn't even write notes for the podcast that I basically ran like Cats and Donkey Punch. I just go off the memory.
Well, that's because those movies are just art. It's just easy for
I
you.
mean, those movies are hard to forget.
You poor fucker. You've been so traumatized. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching this, and hopefully we can catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Yes.